Oh, hey. Whew. Copper and Kings has been rebranded, and they just released a 9-year Apple Brandy finished in Ex-Bourbon cask. Let's talk about it. I'm really excited to dive into this one. Copper and Kings is a brandy distillery out of Louisville, Kentucky. I've been a huge fan of theirs for a long time. They used to do single barrels back in the day, and then they stopped for a hot minute, and I'm so pumped that they've been bought and are being taken seriously again. This is a huge change, and I think it's going to do a lot of really cool things. Copper and Kings Distillery was originally founded in 2014, so they've been around for a while now. I'm not sure if they were always owned by Constellation Brands or if they were bought out at some point shortly after opening, but the majority of their existence, they were owned by Constellation Brands. If you don't know Constellation, they are the conglomerate that owns High West, which is most notable. And I love, for the most part, what they're doing with High West. I really like High West. They've had some bumps along the way, but that's every distillery, right? But I think that they really didn't know what to do with the brandy distillery, especially in American brandy. It's something different than what else is out there. People are used to your cognacs. Some are used to Armagnac and Calvados. So reaching into American brandy and figuring out how to use it properly is difficult. I think that the best way to really market Copper and Kings is to appeal to whiskey drinkers, because that's going to be a lot of your market, especially being based out of Louisville, Kentucky. If you're completely unfamiliar with what Copper and Kings does, they believe in sound infusion. So they are constantly playing loud music down in their basement rick house situation, which, take it or leave it, doesn't really matter. I don't know if it has that much of an influence on the barrel, but their brandy is good. So if they want to play loud music and do weird dances, I really don't like, whatever. Do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. What they're really known for, though, is obviously their brandy, which, if you're not familiar with what brandy is essentially a wine fermentation that is then distilled. So it is a fruit-based spirit versus whiskey being a grain-based spirit. The main things that Copper and Cask make is your core, like, grape brandy, which is the big one in the brandy world in general. And then they also do apple brandy, is one of their bigger distillation runs. They also have peach brandy and pear brandy, but those are smaller. They may have experimented with other fruits, but I'm not really sure on that. The big ones are definitely the grape and apple. One of the largest missteps that I think Constellation Brands took was that they really didn't market Copper and Kings, but then they also ended the single barrel program. And the people that really know Copper and Kings know them from their single barrel program, because they were putting out some crazy stuff that was aged in an ex-bourbon barrel, sometimes a stout. Just really good, really cool cask strength brandy that appealed to your whiskey drinkers. So in the beginning, I announced in the intro that this is a rebranding. So nothing about Constellation, let's move on. They were bought out last year. I cannot remember the buyer's name, so I apologize. It's public information, you can look it up. But I really believe that he saw the vision of Copper and Kings and wanted to focus on that, expand upon that, and really let Copper & Kings fly and be what it needs to be. As a result of that, he did a lot of different things. First and foremost, he redid the labeling, redid the branding, focused on a few different color schemes for the different brandy types. So the apple, I believe, is orange, grape is like a black brown, I think. But the big thing with that is that not only did he change the labeling, but he made these bottles substantially cheaper for the base products and added age statements. So if you go on their website right now, you can pick up a triple pack of their basic stuff, which includes a Bourbon grape brandy, apple brandy, and maybe just a basic grape brandy as well. But it's very cheap. It's like $100 for all three, which is crazy. I actually don't even think it's that much. I think it's like $75 for all three. Whereas before, these bottles cost like $45 a piece. Now they're like $25, $30 a piece, which is crazy. But it allowed them to create something that can sustain the business and focus on doing cool single barrels and stuff like that as like a side project or whatever, but something to make them like popular. Well, the cheap, affordable brandy will help sustain the business. What's really cool about them being located in Louisville is that they have access to all of the distilleries that are in Kentucky as far as using their barrels. Brandy is typically not aged in charred new oak. It can be, but it's typically not. And Copper & Kings uses a lot of used cooperage from Wild Turkey especially. They also use Heaven Hill. They've got some Jim Beam barrels. They've got a good spread of all the Kentucky distilleries, but they definitely focus a lot on those Wild Turkey barrels. I'm not sure what barrel this apple brandy has been aged in. Obviously, it says it's an ex-bourbon barrel. I personally would assume that it's got to be Wild Turkey. One, because that's the most common one that they use, but two, this just has like a really nice, earthy, almost funky quality to the backbone of it that kind of screams Wild Turkey to me. So even if the barrel is not Wild Turkey, if you like Wild Turkey and that's your thing, this is the apple brandy for you. When it comes to the actual apple notes itself, it's very crisp, it's very clean. It has a lot of like red apple with a bit of Granny Smith mixed in kind of vibes going on. It's got those earthy tobacco notes. It has some bourbon qualities with like a nice caramel coating. I think the big difference between this and a pretty typical apple brandy is just the brashness of it, right? So this is Hazmat. It's over 140 proof. It doesn't even remotely drink like that. I don't know that I would guess this is over 120 proof, but you can still tell it's got some oomph to it that an 80 proof apple brandy just can't stand up to. It also has a really nice viscous mouthfeel. It's just really good. I think that if you are a connoisseur of brandy and you know what apple brandy tastes like, you'll notice that this one is a little darker, it's a little heavier. I think those are in part to the cast strength nature of it, the first use bourbon barrel. I'm assuming it's the first use. It has a lot more earthy funk than I'm used to from an apple brandy. When I sip on like a Calvados from France, their brandy is very crisp, very clean, which this has those as well, but this kind of leans into that earthy funkiness, and the Calvados kind of leans into like just juicy apple brightness. And the Calvados, it's kind of like If Calvados is sitting at a fine party with your feet up and drinking out of a long stemware, this apple brandy is, you threw on some hard rock, you've got a rocks glass, and you just want to tell everybody about what you're drinking because it's so damn good. That's kind of the difference, right? It's like refined gentleman versus brash and unapologetic, I'm here to party. I'm really a huge fan of what the new ownership of Copper and Kings is doing. They've revamped the whole distillery. They're rebooting the single barrel program. I think that a lot more people are gonna know Copper and King's name, and I'm here for it. I'm so excited to see what happens. If you're not familiar with my channel, thank you for joining me. If you are familiar with my channel, I'll try and keep this short and sweet this time. I rate things on a scale of pass, try, buy, hoard. Pass are those things where value's way out of whack, flavor's way out of whack, something is wrong with it, and I don't think you should pick it up, period. Try it are those bottles that the value could be off, it could just be really funky, it could be something I really love, but something is just holding it back. And I think you should try it at a bar or try it at a friend's house before you buy it. Buy it falls into those spirits that I think you should just go pick up. They're a great addition to the collection. It's really good. Everything about it is just a really solid pour. Hoard it is reserved for those really special bottlings. If you're gonna ignore my buy it rating because I put a lot of things into buy it because there's a lot of really good spirits out there. If you're only gonna buy one thing, buy hoard it. This is reserved for those just really special spirits. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, if I was to only buy one thing, I'd want them to be these. If for some reason it doesn't vibe with your palate, that's okay. Let me know, we can trade. This for me is gonna get a hoard it rating. It is so good. They did such a good job with this. I love the fresh, clean apple while being a little bit rowdy. I think it's a really nice profile. If you don't have any apple brandy and you want a really solid place to start, this is gonna rock your world and really make you wanna drink more apple brandy. I am a small channel, so if you like what I'm doing, please interact, like, comment, subscribe. It all really helps me out a lot. And otherwise, thank you for joining me. May your trails be empty and your glass is full. Cheers.